Ever wanted to make your website explode with color and excitement from a simple click? In this tutorial, we're turning that idea into reality by creating a stunning fireworks effect with HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Let's jump right into the fun. Before we dive in, a huge thank you to all our amazing patrons supporting Code Instinct on Patreon. If you want access to the source code for this tutorial and much more, consider joining us for just $3 a month. Your support helps us continue to provide quality content. And don't forget, only 2.1% of our viewers are subscribed. A quick click on that subscribe button helps us keep the tutorials coming your way. Our HTML is simple and straightforward. We're not doing anything fancy here, just setting up a body tag where our particles will appear, and a script tag where all the magic happens. Now, let's jump into the CSS, where we style the fireworks particles and the overall page. We start with the body tag. Margin 0 eliminates any default spacing around the edges, and overflow hidden ensures the fireworks stay within the viewport. The background color black sets a dark background to make our fireworks stand out. Next, we move on to the particle class, which represents each individual particle in our fireworks effect. Position absolute is used to position the particles relative to the page. Width 6 pixels and height 6 pixels make the particles small and circular. Background white ensures each particle is white by default. Border radius 50% rounds the corners, turning our square particles into circles. Opacity 1 starts the particles fully visible. The animation explode 1.5 seconds ease out forwards property makes each particle animate, with the explode animation taking 1.5 seconds, easing out from start to finish, and keeping the final state after the animation ends. The filter drop shadow property adds a glowing effect to the particles, giving them that dazzling look. Let's define the @keyframes explode rule. Here's where the animation happens. At 0%, the particle starts at its original position with transform, translates 0, and scale 1, and is fully visible with opacity 1. At 100%, the particle moves to a new position using transform, translate var, ~x, var ~y, scale 0.3. Also, particles will shrinking and fading away with opacity 0. Now, let's break down the JavaScript that powers our fireworks. First, we set up the event listener to listen for a click on the document. When the user clicks, the function runs. We generate a random color for each click using HSL and math random, which produces a random hue, making the fireworks colorful with every click. We define an array of angles to represent the 8 directions the particles will travel. Every multiple of 45 degrees, from 0 to 315 degrees. These angles ensure the particles will spread in all directions from the click point. Next, we create a variable distance 52, determine the initial travel distance of the particles. Now we create the first set of particles. We loop through each angle using angles.for each. First one, we create a new div element for the particle. The position of the particle is determined by the mouse click coordinates event.clientx, event.clienty. We calculate the particle's new position using trigonometry. Math.cos, radian for x, and math.sineradian for y, based on the angle and the distance. This section of the code is responsible for positioning and styling each particle that appears when the user clicks on the screen. The particle style left and particle style top properties ensure that the particle is placed precisely at the click position. Adjusted slightly by subtracting 3 pixels to keep it centered. The particle style background color equals color. Dynamically assigns a random color to each particle using the HSL color model. The particle style set property ~x, offset x, and particle style set property ~y, offset y. Define custom CSS variables that determine the final destination of the particle during its animation, allowing it to move outward in a specific direction. Lastly, the particle style filter drop shadow will adds a glowing effect to each particle, enhancing the visual appeal of the explosion effect. After the first round of particles is created, We use setTimeout to remove each particle after 2 seconds using particle remove, so they disappear once the animation finishes. Now, let's talk about the second round of particles, which are triggered with a slight delay. We introduce another setTimeout with a delay of 105 milliseconds. This delay causes the second set of particles to appear slightly after the first round, creating a more dynamic effect. For the second round, we increase the distance to 100 pixels, making the particles travel further out. This creates a sense of depth, with the second set of particles spreading farther than the first. We then repeat the same process by copy-pasting the first round to the second round particles. We loop through each angle in the array again. For each angle, a new particle is created, and its position is calculated relative to the initial click with the increased distance. The particle is styled with the same random color, and it follows the same animation as the first set. Finally, after both sets of particles are created and animated, they are removed from the DOM after the animations are complete, ensuring they don't stay on screen forever. This project demonstrates how CSS animations and JavaScript DOM manipulation can create a visually stunning fireworks effect. By adjusting the number of particles, animation duration, or color variations, you can further enhance and customize the effect. This interactive feature can be integrated into websites for celebrations, landing pages, or creative UI elements. And that's how you can create a stunning fireworks effect triggered by a simple click using HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. If you loved this tutorial and want access to the source code, be sure to check out our Patreon page. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video so we can continue bringing you awesome content. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next tutorial.